about removing that hideous popcorn ceiling. So we're in a house that we purchased a few weeks ago. This came from a probate, so the heirs, two brothers, were inheriting the house. One lived out of state and one is a busy professional here in Florida. And this house is like a blast from the past. And we've demoed a lot of it, but it was like stepping into a 1970s vintage home. Nothing had been changed since the home was built. As you can see, most of the popcorn has been removed. But what we're going to do today, I'm going to interview my contractor so we can show you the steps on how to remove popcorn, and then we're going to actually show you how they do it because they haven't removed the popcorn yet in the garage. So why popcorn is just outdated, I don't know why they use popcorn. I mean, there was a couple reasons why they used it. It's real popular back in like the 70s and the 80s. It absorbs a lot of smell, it absorbs a lot of sound, but it's very hard to paint. It gets dirty, it starts peeling with moisture. So anytime we have a house that has popcorn ceilings, unless we're talking about a house that's like under 100,000, we're usually scraping the popcorn off and then doing knockdown texture. I wouldn't recommend that you do this on your own because it is quite a bit of a project. So if you've never done it or you don't have the equipment, I suggest always hiring someone to do it. That's tip number one. Tip number two is you don't want to do this when you're living in the house. As you can see, it creates a lot of dust. So, you're going to be scraping this stuff off of the ceiling and it's going to go flat onto the floor. So if you've got furniture and flooring, you definitely want to cover things up, but I wouldn't recommend that you be in the house while you're doing this project. So I'm going to take you guys out to the garage where we're going to meet Eddie. Eddie is my contractor. He's from E&R Home Services, and he does a lot of our remodeling. And like I said, they've done pretty much the entire house at this point. All right, we're on. So we're just going to turn off the machine. This is Eddie.
Hi.
So I just kind of brought them around the house to show them how all the popcorn is removed. We're going to be removing it in the garage today. So just a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
What kind of steps do you go through in order to remove the popcorn?
Well, first, depending on the situation, if the house is occupied or if it's vacant, we do the preparation first. After
Is that covering everything with plastic?
Yeah, covering everything. We get our equipment ready, and normally the first step we do is we will spray the ceilings down with water.
Okay.
Once we spray it down, we coming back and we start scraping each section off layer by layer. Depending on if the ceilings are painted with flat paint or with semi-gloss, sometimes it comes out easy or sometimes it comes out pretty tough.
Which one's easier, semi-gloss or flat?
Flat. Semi-gloss is much harder than the flat.
Okay, good thing to know. So what should we watch out for when we're scraping popcorn? If someone were to do this on their own?
First of all, you have safety is the most important thing. You have to be on the lookout for asbestos or lead-based paint.
Okay.
Really, the only way of finding out is checking the history of the house.
Right.
There's equipment that you could use to check it, but normally houses from the 60s and older normally have asbestos. So if it does, then you got to take the proper precautions on how to work with it. Because once you sand, scrape, you're exposing the asbestos or the lead.
Right. Okay. Okay, so that covers some of the safety concerns. So what kind of safety equipment do you need when taking the popcorn off?
Not too much. You just basically, I always recommend safety goggles. Some people like to work with gloves. Some people don't like to work with gloves. Obviously, your floor, because you don't want to slip because we wet the ceiling, so you want to take the proper precautions. for slippery, having the proper amount, the proper shoes in the work site. A mask, because once you spraying, obviously it's gonna get humidity and dust and all of that. So basically just protecting your eyes, protecting your hands, and protecting for proper ventilation.
Okay. How long does it usually take? So this house is 2,300 square feet. How long did it take you to scrape the popcorn in this house?
Roughly with anywhere from 2 to 3 guys, maybe 4. It could take up to 2 to 3 days. It all depends, like I was saying earlier, on the sheen, which is either 2,000 to 2,500 square feet. You're probably looking at with 3 guys, maybe 2 days, maybe 3. It all depends. Some areas come out easy, some areas don't come out easy.
Okay. How much does it, what's the general guideline for cost when I hire a contractor to scrape the popcorn?
That's a good question. It all depends. Like back to what I was saying earlier, the sheen, like the semi-gloss, the flat. It also depends if the house is vacant, if the house is occupied.
Right.
Because if it's occupied, you got to take much more work preparation.
Right.
You got to make sure you're covering up the carpets, you're covering up the cabinets, you know, whatever's in the house. So basically, on a bare bone house, vacant, nothing, floors could get damaged. It don't matter. It could range from anywhere from $2.25 to $3
A square foot?
Yes, per square foot. I mean, it could go up. Like I said, depending on the situation, if it's occupied or not.
And is that including then adding the knockdown, or is that just scraping the popcorn?
No, that's including the full. That's materials that is going to be required to
finish
the job. Yeah, finished product. Exactly.
Right. So what we talked about was we're doing knockdown in all of the houses, basically.
Yes.
So it's not $225, includes both the scraping and then the knockdown texture, which you guys will see next week, because you'll probably start the knockdown pretty soon here, right?
Yeah, like tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, and then finally, well, what factors increase the cost? You said you basically just went over that. So.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so that's it. So we're going to show you, basically, how to take off the popcorn. So we'll go over here to the guys. You guys like really have to wet it. So you soak it pretty good.
You have to, yeah. Some areas you don't, some you do.
So is this flat paint?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's coming off nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And then before you apply the knockdown texture, what do you have to do to the ceiling?
We have to fix the ceiling.
Sand it.
Sand it, skim coat it, prime it before you shoot the texture.
Okay.
So there is a little bit of a process before you shoot the new texture.
Okay. So really this is kind of the easy part. Well, what would you say? You're the one that does it.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
It could
yes,
depend.
yes when it's like this. No when it's much harder.
Right.
You gotta be there. Like normally we do it with this tool, but sometimes when it's really hard, we get an actual scraper and we go up with the ladder.
Okay.
With our hands because it's that tool sometimes won't work.
Right.
For certain areas.
Cool. All right, there you guys have it. So that's it for today. Next week, we'll do a knockdown video with Eddie. But because next step will obviously be preparing the ceiling for the knockdown and then actually spraying on the final finish. So we can do that next week. So that's it for today. Thank you, Eddie from E&R Home Services, and the guys, Willie and Jose. This is my power team right here. So all this information will be up on my blog at Carrie's Corner on Carrie Buys Houses. And if you have popcorn ceilings and you don't want to deal with it and you'd rather sell it, come give me a call or log on to Carrie Buys Houses to input your information, and we'll come take a look at it. And that's it for today. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.